Hello everyone, and welcome to this edition of Hacking on Fedora Infrastructure Applications with me, Aurélien Bompard. So, how are we doing today? Let me check on the Twitch thing. So, this today is going to be hopefully a shorter session than last time. Last time I stayed there 3 hours because there was actually more to do than I thought at the beginning, and so I took a bit more time. But we finished what we started with, so that's all good. Today I have a set of issues that we could work on. Let me get you back to the lists right here. So it's all smallish on your browser. Let me update that. Okay, so I went through the SFX page and found a few issues that might be interesting. Before I send out the poll, let me check if we have people here. Apparently we have a couple people. I don't know if you are bots or if you're not. All right. If there's nobody, which is fine, it can totally happen, especially on today where few people at Red Hat are expected to be working. Um, I will just pick one thing and go with it. So let me go through the issues that we can work on today. First one would be this one right here. This one is about migrating Fedora messaging to use Poetry and Renovate. Let me pick that a bit bigger. So, yeah, Poetry and Renovate are two project management, well, not project management tools, but like package management tools, I should say. Poetry will handle your metadata and dependencies, update them, keep them up to date. Well, not keep them up to date, but allow you to update them and log them, which means that when you install your program, you know which versions are going to be installed, and there's the same versions that you tested them with. So that's pretty handy. Renovate is a bot that is going to scan your repository regularly and send you pull requests if there are packages that need to be updated. It's very practical. It's kind of similar to Dependabot. I don't know if you've used that one. And Renovate has a few advantages over Dependabot, and we're starting to use them. But Fedora Messaging as a repository doesn't have Renovate yet. I don't think it even has Dependabot. So we can migrate to those. That's one thing. Then there's some issues on FMN. The first one being actually a couple of issues that are kind of similar. It's about adding a cancel button when editing the rules. So if I go to FMN, for example, well, it's notifications.fedoraproject.org. Let's assume that I am logged in. I am. That's cool. If I create a new rule, then I do stuff. I add a destination, for example. I'm having an issue getting the destinations, but that's okay. That's probably something broken somewhere. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, I could have a look at the logs and fix that. I'll do that in a short while. Let me try with the staging version, just so I can demonstrate what I wanted to show. Let me go to the staging version, create a new rule, choose a tracking rule, whichever, get the destinations, and here it works. I can choose those two, for example, add a destination, and then some people say that this button here is kind of not obvious. It's not obvious that you need to click on it for the rule to be recorded. So it's some people clicked there and all their setting up was gone. So yeah, so we could change that. That's one thing. And the other one is this one right here. This last one is about adding a footer to the email, to the notification that are sent out by FMN. All right, that's all good. So, which one should we work on? Oh yeah, there's one more thing. I thought that I might add in the list of things that we could work on a review of an existing pull request. I have this pull request right here that has been opened by Lenka on FASJSON. That's the issue has been opened by Kevin, and Lenka has proposed a pull request right here, and it's still under review. So I was thinking I could demonstrate how I review stuff on the applications that we have. So I have set up a poll. It's the first time that I do this in Twitch. Hopefully that's going to work this time. Is this okay? So I click start poll. I hope that something happened. Meh. I am actually not so sure. How do I see the poll in Twitch? Do you guys see a poll? Oh, that might be a poll on the right. Right? If you go to the right of your screen, there might be something called polling, and there's also a control stream kit, which I wanted to beta test as well, but I have apparently enabled it, which is more than I wanted to. Yeah, I'll disable it later on, but for now, yeah, I'll disable it for now. Okay, so if you go to the right of your screen, you might be able to see the polling app and have a poll where you could vote on. Yolomatic Swagmaster says that they can't see a poll yet. It should be on the right of your screen. You should be able to click on polling and see something. Like it's a something that happens only if you hover on the right of your screen. I've never used that before. I can't really help you more. Which reminds me that I haven't started my notifier. Is this gonna work? Channels, okay. Yeah, so I'm running my notifier that is going to tell me when somebody posts something in the chat. Do you see a poll yet? Ah, no polling options. Okay, what did I do wrong this time? Okay, let me try again. Create a poll, close voting and show results. Okay, it should be on. Or do I need to enable it? Or do I need to like start it in some way? Sorry, I'm kind of new at this. There's a button that says close voting and show results, but doesn't seem like it's a good idea to do that. Okay, maybe I'll start over. Okay, let me go back to my poll and I'll create the options. Thanks for joining, by the way. Just a minute while I type the options in. Well, cut and paste really. Third option. And last option. Okay, something should have happened now, and hopefully you'll see something. Okay. Yeah, if I click on my button on my screen, I do see some options. I'm gonna wait a bit for you to choose some options. Who else? Oh, there's way more people now in the chat. Well, maybe some of them are bots. Who knows? So okay, you clicked an option. That's good. Yeah, absolutely. There is something that I do see an option. I only see one vote, which is yours. So much for anonymity, you know. And it's about the review. So that's a good idea. It's going to be a bit different, but I think it's still very interesting to see how I review stuff. So first, some context about the bug. Just checking. I'm going to close this vote. Yeah, I'm happy that it worked. Done. And end poll. All right, gone. Okay, so we're going to work on that one. So let me give you some context about this issue. First, the problem was that our user database is stored in an LDAP tree. In LDAP, any entry might have subentries. In our system, we have groups and we have group managers, which is a set of users. And those users have the permissions to manage the users in the group. Okay. But in these group managers, there might be groups. So you might have groups who are managers of groups. And that's what FASJSON, which is the REST API for our user database, that's what it's failing at. So it's try-specking badly here, saying that it's not finding the users in the list of sponsors, which is, of course, it is normal because there are no users, there's only groups. Turns out the user did have managers, but it was another group. So Lenka took this on and proposed a fix in this pull request. So what do I do when I want to review something? Well, here I've started reviewing it already, but so first I noticed that the branch is out of date with the base branch, so she should rebase it. But it's fine. I'm going to do the review anyway, and we'll see where that goes. I see that the unit tests fail. So that's all the first thing that I want to look at. Let's go for the unit tests. Unit tests fail, and they fail because the coverage is not 100%. Well, actually, that's what she just said right here. And the first thing, of course, is not checking out the test. It is reading the comments of the person who wrote the code in the first place. So we're going to fix that issue later. First, I'm going to look at the commits, see that there's only one. So if there's only one commit, I can go directly to the files change page. If there was more than one commit, I would check out each commit individually, because seeing all the changed files at the same time is usually more complex than it can be. So I usually go to commit and check out each commit in a row. Of course, you can also do that from the Files Change tab. You just need to click here and select the commits that you want to view, which is basically the same thing. There's quite a few things here, but yeah, there's not so much actually. Difference is let's look at the tests. She creates a result that is an empty list of sponsors. All right. Actually, I think that she checks that it's not crashing if there's no sponsors, which is the first thing, very important. Then she is checking what happens when the sponsor is a group. She's creating this result here with sponsors being a group. And she's also, I suppose, creating a result for looking up the members of the group. And here it will be FASJSON done. And then checking out that the result of the sponsors so if you have a group A that has group B as a sponsor, and user user U is in group B, then the sponsors of group A are user U because they are indirect sponsors. So we're going to recurse into all the groups and get all the users. What does it do right here? It is looking, instead of looking at the sponsors from the result and searching for UIDs, it's going to list all the UIDs, all the sponsor UIDs, and build the search with them. And this is what is going to save us from crashing when there are no sponsors. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's deduplicating it. That's even better. And this here. Okay, so this function is not recursive, which means that it's not going to recurse into all the subgroups, all the sponsor groups. But it's fine. It's going to do it at one level. I don't think we have groups that are members of groups that are sponsors of other groups. So we're going to start with that. So first thing that I do is look at it, see if there are obvious things that seem wrong. I don't see any here. I noticed that there is no news fragment, so I'm going to ask her to add that later on. A news fragment is a piece that goes into the changelog, and we hold those as we have them as separate files, and they are concatenated into the changelog using towncrier. Pretty handy tool. All right, so this looks right. Let's check out the code and test it. When I want to check out some pull request and test it, I have a workflow that I have written a tool to help me with. This tool is called Git pull requests. Let me find you the tool. So I'll open some. I open some terminal. Bring it here. Use a decent font for you to see. That should be much better. And I am going to go to my repository, my FASJSON repository. Check that I'm not working on something. I am on the dev branch, that is all good. And then I am going to use something called Git PR branch. Yeah, that's the name of the tool, Git PR branch. I wrote it and I don't even remember how it's named. It's fine. So let me show you. Hey, Juice Machine, sorry. How you doing? We are working on something a bit different this time. I'm going to show you how I review a pull request in one of our applications. This time it's a pull request that has been opened by Lenka, and it's about FASJSON. So I wanted to show you Git PR branch, which is the tool that I use to ease my workflow when I'm reviewing code. Git PR branch, it's a script. Well, it's not really a script. I was hoping that it would give out some result, but it doesn't. Of course, it's a small thing. Maybe Google can give me something even more. Yeah. Still, it gives me some PyPI result. Okay, pretty good. Okay, so Git PR branch is a Python script that I wrote It's a bit more than a script actually. The idea is to help you manage the relationship between branches and pull requests. When you have a pull request, you want to download the branch. Well, you want to download it in a specific branch, and then you want to test it. But if you do that frequently, you will end up with a lot of branches, and you don't really know what to do with it. Also, if somebody makes a change to this branch and you pull it again, it's going to overwrite what is in your local branch, your local clone, and it's a bit too bad because it means that it will be harder to see the differences between different revisions of the same pull request, and you could have had that easily because you just had the branch just before it. So the main concept for this branch is that for this tool is that it's going to pull the pull requests into, which one is it? Let me close the rest. Yeah, let me close the rest first. Poetry, blah blah blah. Renovate. No, that's not that. Cancel. Okay. No, no, and no. Yeah, it's going to create a new branch each time you want to update this pull request. Let me show you what it is, what it looks like. So it's 555, easy to remember. So git pr branch pull 555 is going to show you all the git commands that it runs, because yeah, that helps you figure out what's going on. So it adds a new remote for the user that has created the pull request, fetches from this remote, and extracts the latest commit of this pull request, right? And it extracts it in a branch called pr/the number of the branch /1. And that's the main thing here, this /1 here. That's when I've done this review and I suggest comments or updates for Lenka to change, then she will make changes, and I will call this command again, and it's going to create a new branch with pr/555/2. And this way, it will be easy for me to see the changes that she recently did, if she took my suggestions into account or not, if she proposed different solutions. It's very, very handy. At least very handy for me, which is obviously why I created it. Okay. Okay, so what do I have here? Here, my latest commit is the commit by Lenka. All right. So, how do I know if it works? Well, I'll start FASJSON. To start FASJSON, what do? I have a Vagrant file right here, so I'm going to start Vagrant. Vagrant is going to start up 2 virtual machines. One is FreeIPA, which is the backend, the LDAP server that holds oral accounts, and one is FASJSON. So it's starting FASJSON FreeIPA, waiting for the machine to boot. This may take a few minutes, indeed. It is time for a drink. It's very hot in here, so today I'm not drinking tea. Well, right now I am not drinking tea because, yeah, of course I would. And I'm just drinking water. Okay, I have bad news. I have bad news indeed. The virtual machine was not created. The virtual machine for FreeIPA hadn't been created. I have probably deleted it earlier to save me some space on my hard drive. And I am not going to wait for FreeIPA to install because it is quite long actually. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cancel that. Goodbye FreeIPA. Yeah, of course. I'm going to start FASJSON, and I'm going to connect it to my existing FreeIPA installation in TinyStage. Do I need to explain what TinyStage is? Of course I do. TinyStage is a small set of Vagrant boxes. It's a small set of Vagrant. Well, no, I don't need auth. I just need IPA. It's a small set of Vagrant boxes that reproduce all the very important machines that that we have in staging. That's why it's called TinyStage, and that is IPA. There's a VM for FASJSON. There's a VM for Noggin. Well, it's actually collocated on the same VM for Epsilon to act as an OpenIDC provider, OpenID Connect provider, and a few other machines. So as a result, you start a TinyStage and you have all that is necessary to hack on other applications that require those services. Okay, machine is booted and ready. That's pretty cool. So right now it is starting FastJSON, and of course it's going. I think it's going to fail. Oh, I made a mistake right here. Yeah, it's going to fail because it is currently configured to register with the IP instance that is started by the same Vagrant VM. But I can fix that, and it's going to be much faster than. Yeah, it's going to be much faster than starting IPA in this VM and installing it. So right now I think I made a mistake because it's going to fail, and if I don't specify it explicitly, Vagrant deletes the VM when the install doesn't complete. So let's not wait for that to happen. I know it's going to happen. Yeah, see, it's deleting the domain. Okay. Anyway, Ansible, FastJSON. Hopefully it has the. It doesn't. I hope that it had the location of the IPA box as a variable, but it doesn't. All good. I'm going to do it. Sorry. Free IPA. Sorry, IPA maybe. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. See, that's all wrong. IPA.example.test. That's totally not what we want. Okay, we are going to register this hostname with FastJSON dot. Well, dash dev dot tinystage.test. Domain is tinystage.test. The realm is going to be tinystage in caps. Server is going to be IPA dot, yeah, you guessed. Admin is not that one. That is a very, very complex password you saw here. And I'm going to replace it with something even worse. Alright, IPA can install, uninstall. Okay, all good. FastJSON.dev. That is going to be my host name. Of course, that's going to fail. It's called FastJSON-dev tinystage.test. Alright. Fix that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, all good, all good. Do I still have examples somewhere? Yes, of course I do. And this is the. Yeah, and that's the wrong password. Okay, do I still have examples somewhere? I do not. Yes, of course, there are some things that need to be changed right here. It's called FastJSON-dev. Yeah, you think it's taking a long time, but it's even worse if I waited for FastJSON for free API to be installed. Yeah. Okay, now let's start Vagrant up again, but this time no destroy on error. Yeah, hey Adam, so I could do a set replace. I could do that in Vim as well. Um, so the thing is, I always think that it's going to be very few changes, and it almost never is. So yeah, I could have done that. I could have done that. I usually do that in Vim, but yeah. Yeah, you're right. I should probably do that. I should do that, but I'm going to do something even worse. I'm going to grep again. See? I missed one. So you are absolutely right. Oh no, no, that's fine. That's in the free API role that I'm not using. Okay, that's good. Whew, save this time. All right, it's starting. So it's creating the VM, and it's starting Ansible. So Adam exercise here. They always forget the right way to replace in Vim, so I back out and you said, yeah, I can understand that. So in Vim, yeah. So if you do that in Vim, it would have to be, yeah, that's not the right place. It will have to be colon %s to mean that you're going to apply that on the entire file, then slash your example slash the replacement tiny stage slash g if you want to do that on the entire line. That's pretty much the same as in sed. And c if you want to confirmation. That's where Vim is useful. It can help you. It can let you confirm the changes. Of course, what did you notice here? It took the tiny state that was in caps and replaced it in minuscule in lower caps. Not what we want. So I would have had to first set no ignore case and then do the thing again. And it would just replace the right thing. All right, that's pretty cool. Now I would have to do the same thing again with the example in caps. Example, tiny stage. Cool. Right. And then I would have to change the password again because, yeah, it's not the same thing on tiny stage. It's just password. And when I'm done with this, oh, notice, yeah, that's very interesting. There is another one here. Why the password is spelled out 2 times, I do not know, but it is. Oh yeah, there's one for the administrative password and one for the directory manager. Not the same thing. So Vim is pretty useful. Vim is pretty useful if you, for this because you can undo your things. Well, you can do that inside, obviously, and you can have a preview with and confirm with C. What is not fun, however, is that if you want to do something more complex with Vim, it does not have the same character classes as sed. So you, for example, if you want to do example and you want to say, okay, I want any example that has an E more times, like at least one E at the end. Let's just search for it. Example. Any example that has a E and more E at the end, that ends with an E, but at least one E. Yeah, that's the word. You can do that and it's not going to find it. Why? Because in Vim, the plus has to be escaped. Yeah, it's not. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, of course, there's no example. That would be tiny stage. Tiny stage plus, it doesn't find it anymore because plus has to be escaped. Then it'll find it. Same thing for like the if you want to have the parentheses to mark groups, then you have to escape them. But if you want to do character classes, then you do not have to escape them. It's a bit of a mess. So I always try the thing many times before I figure out the right way. Well, anyway, let's just, yeah, let's not mess out the extraction with this. All right, hopefully it's done. It's not, because it's of course not done installing RPM packages. So yeah, but on the other hand, having things in Vim is very useful because you could match end of lines and it will show you it will show you what you well, there are some things that are really useful to if you want to do regular expression replacement in Vim. Much easier than I think than in sed. But still, sed has some nice features as well, like you can match for a regular expression and change the line after that. Pretty cool. All right, where are you, FASJSON? Still installing RPM packages. Fine. What we could do, if we don't want to wait for it to run, we could run the tests and see what happens with this coverage thing that you was mentioning in the pull request. Let's run the tests. Tests are run in Tux in almost all of our projects. Well, almost all of our Python projects, of course. And you can use Tux-L to see the list of environments that you can pick from. Let's run tests, just the unit test. We don't want to run the other ones for now. So it's running poetry, installing. So I have a VM here that is installing things, so it's already running taking as much power as it can from my computer. And because I can't wait, what I'm doing is doing something else that is also pulling from the internet and using power from my computer. So it makes everything slower just because I can't wait. Anyway, hopefully the CPU churn is going to happen when the network-bound operations happen on the other tab, but you never know. Oh, and of course, by the way, since I'm streaming, it's also encoding in the background. Never mind. All right, it's running the test now. Blah, 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 blah. Running all that. Okay, everything passes. That's good. But we have the same issue with the coverage, right? It's not showing out. Yeah, gov report. It is not entirely covered, so I'm going to have a look at what coverage is missing. So why did we split the coverage into a separate Tux environment? I hear you ask. Very good question. Usually, when you run PyTest, it's capable of outputting the coverage itself. What we did here is erase the coverage, run all the environments for all the Pythons, and then produce the reports. Why did we do this? Good question. It's because some tests are enabled for some environments and not for others. For example, if you have a test that only runs on Python 3.9, some other test that only runs on Python 3.10, then if you run, some piece of code that only runs on Python 3.9, some piece of code that only runs on Python 3.10, then when you run with the other Python, it's going to not see it because the test hasn't gone through it because it's the wrong Python. So we do all the tests for all the Pythons and we accumulate all the results in the same coverage file and then we produce the result. 115 to 121. What is that? Let's have a look. Am I going to do that in Vim or should I start Visual Studio Code? Let's just do this. It's not actually writing code this time. It's just reviewing some code. So line 115. if group matched. If group matched, then members, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I think I know what's going on here. So let me do something even a bit better than that. Cov report. Let's create an HTML coverage. Wait, what? Coverage report. Yeah, that's not HTML. Coverage HTML. That's the thing. Ah, there it is. So this is my coverage report. This is obviously where we have an issue. Well, not models, but client. Oh, that's bad coverage. Quite a bit of bad coverage right here. Maybe that's not good. Let me check how it's done in Tux. Where's Cov report? Cov report is right here. Okay, so it should have created the HTML output. Do it again, please. I should have the exact same output in here than what I had on the web page. Yes, okay, something wonky happened, but it's fine. See here, that's what's missing. And if I go to the web page, here it's as, yeah, so here it is yellow. And the reason it's not covered is because the condition was never false. I don't know if you can read that, but it's written right at the end of the line, in the title of this line. Line 115 didn't jump to line 121 because the condition on line 115 was never false. And of course, that's why Lenka thinks that that it's weird. She's getting prints for there, and of course she's getting prints because it's always going through it. But coverage is smart enough to detect that it's always going through it and never wrong, which means that we need to add a test where group match doesn't match. Okay? Let's just do that. I hope that it's clear for everyone. Okay, let's add a test then. FASJSON tests unit and test. Well, I'm going to add it in the same file. What did you do? She added it to labeled app client, which is the exact right one. Okay. So I'm typing VI each time, but it's because I have an alias from VI to Vim. So I'm actually starting Vim, which reminds me of the bad news we heard recently. But yeah. Okay, let's get to group sponsor. Okay, I suppose it's going to be where did she add the that's the one. List sponsors UID. So let me open that a bit bigger, by the way, so you can actually read it. Does this increase the yeah, okay. Now you can read it. So what we want to test is something that will get us group match to be false. How do we do that? We want this expression to be false. So Cn equal. Oh, that's. It means that when I'm getting the group sponsors, sponsors dn, what's that? List sponsors UID. Okay. So always have CN? Oh, let me print something first because I'm surprised. Um, I'm surprised that it's never wrong actually. Let me print something right here. Sponsor. Let me try to run that test again. I'm not going to wait for the entire thing to run. I'm going to just run the right one. So to do that, I'm going to look at docs.ini, and I see that I can I can add arguments to this line. So I'm going to run the same tox command, except this time I'm going to add arguments. Of course, I forgot which test I was looking at. Sorry, not this one. This one. No, not this one. I still want to look at this one. That's the name of the test that I want to check. So if I run this test, if I run this test, only this test, actually it's going to print out the whole coverage thing. I don't want to disturb my coverage, so I'm going to disable coverage for this run. Okay, it passes. Oh yeah, sorry. -S will remove the capture system so I can see my prints. So we have CN translators, group, blah, 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 blah. So that's correct, okay? That's entirely correct. Now, what happens if I just check, oh, hey, one side, how are you? Thanks for joining. We are currently reviewing pull requests, and right now I'm going to add a new test because the coverage was not good enough, and I'm trying to figure out what test I should do for it to go through the right branch with the right value. Hey, thanks, Adam. So Adamek says that he has to get back to work, and that was the first stream, and it won't be the last. So thank you very much for coming, and of course, get back to work if you need to. It's going to be up on YouTube afterwards, so you can pick it up where you left off. So A1 Site asked why I'm not wearing a Fedora hat. That's a good question. I am not wearing a Fedora hat for various reasons. First one is it's pretty hot today. I'm in the west part of France, and it's very hot, and hats keep you hot. So I'm not wearing a Fedora hat, but I do have one somewhere. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I probably have one. As Yolomedic says, we wear our Fedora hats in our hearts. So yeah, it's so beautiful. All right, so what I'm trying to do here is running a test that will. So yeah, let me tell you my thinking. It's the test here is the test here should this if group match should be wrong each time we have a sponsor that is not a group, and that happens already in the tests, or I think it does. So I'm going to check that it actually does. Sponsors. How do I get the sponsors? Group sponsors empty. No. Get group sponsors. That'll be it. Let me run this test. Yeah. Let me run this test. And I think it should go through the right branch. And it does not. Why does it not list sponsors? It should call list sponsors UID anyway. Why does it not call sponsors to users? Get group sponsors. It should call get group. It should call get group sponsors, right? Sorry. It should definitely call get group sponsors because that's the main ID for this. Oh, it's mocking it. Okay, that's why. Well, well. Not very happy about that. Should do something different. I should not mock this entire function. I should mock something that is called inside this function. Yes. Do I have a white hat or a black hat? I think I have both actually. I have both. I have a white Fedora hat and I have a black Red Hat, which is a bit too bad. I mean, it's an opportunity that has been missed there. I have a Red Hat and it's black. It's why? Why would you do that? But that's still something. I anyway. Um. So. Yeah. Okay, so I'm mocking it out, so I should mock something that is not as important as a result. Maybe search. I can probably mock the search, right? Because that's what we did in the other one. Sponsors to users. Blah 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 blah. Okay, no, not this one. Yeah. Here we have mocked the result, and I'm going to try to do the same. Not empty, but this one. Hey, you know what? Hmm. Yeah, I'm not very satisfied with this. Let's just unmock it. I'm going to make a flag here with mark MA, for example, that creates a registry, I should say, in Vim where you can get back to it with quote A, no, not quote but apostrophe, to get back to it easily. So I'm not very happy about how that's done. I don't really remember from the top of my head how we mock things in FASJSON. But here I would like to avoid mocking sponsors to users. I would much prefer if we mocked, mocked conversion. That's not right. I'm going to unmock that and see if that works. Might work. It might work. We'll see. Let's try this code again. I expect it to fail. All right. Here, username in get group sponsors, get group result. Okay. Lists, sponsors, UIDs. Okay. And it's failing. But it should have printed something. Yes, it did print something. I have UID equal admin, CN equal users, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And it is failing because it's trying to get the group members here and failing. I think we have an issue here. We'll see, because it shouldn't match this. It shouldn't match this because it is starting with UID equal, not CN. I think that's where we have an issue here. CN should actually be matched only at the start of the file. Yes. CN should be matched only at the start of the file. I have an re.findAll here, which is not doing the right thing. It should be a match. Yep, but it shouldn't crash. That's for sure. What is my member manager? What does it look like? I have the group match here, very good. And then what is the result of this? Please do it again. Thank you very much. It should be printing things. Yes. So there's a question from you on site in the chat that is there any point to using verified secure boot on Linux? And I do not know. I don't know because I haven't really looked at that recently. My specialty is more in applications development, not really on that part. I don't know. I know that we can do secure boots on Linux because we have a way we can sign the kernels, but I don't know the ins and outs of it. And you should probably ask people on the Fedora discussion forum. I think that would be preferable. I don't know, honestly. I'd rather not lead you astray. So my answer is nothing. Not my answer to you, of course. My answer from FASJSON from the client. So I'm getting nothing right here, which means that get group members. Let me get back to my test. It's a bit. All right, so there's a feature in this headset that turns it off every 30 minutes. And there is some power management probably somewhere that I need to unset or to fix. I'll have a look at that now that I know that it's every 30 minutes. Anyway, it's not a battery problem. That's already pretty good. Okay. Okay. So I need to mock something else to get my result, right? I will need to mock the call to the admin account. So say, for example, yeah, so result 3 should be something that looks like this, actually. First the member manager, and then That's the second answer. Okay, let's try again. So Site has a question about the Red Hat drama that happened a while ago and Red Hat crowdsourcing that couldn't behind a paywall. So that is interesting. I wouldn't say that they are close sourcing their code, because I mean you can still get it. If you got the binaries, you can still get the source. So I guess that still feels it still validates the GPL, and well, it's still not validates, but it still does everything that the GPL asks for. So you don't have to pay to get the. You don't have to pay. Well, if you get the binaries, it means you paid. So if you get the source, you don't have to pay more than what you paid to get the binaries. And that is explicitly said on the GPL. You shouldn't have to pay to get the source. You should have to pay to get the source, specifically the source. So you pay to get the binaries, and then you get the sources because you already paid for them. All right, so, and of course, and let me add something. The source is still public on CentOSstream's Git on git.or is it git.centos.org? I think so. So yeah, you can still get the source just by going to the Git, and you have all the sources here. Everything that is built on Rail has been built from GitLab, so it's there. Yeah, thank you, Euromatic Songmaster. I'm known to be not good at doing many things at the same time. so yeah. I'm not sure what's so Site says that isn't this still kind of scummy to do that. I'm not sure what scummy means because I'm not a native English speaker, but I think that they went above and beyond what the GPL asked them to do before by providing everything that was needed for another organization to rebuild their source code, and it has been repeatedly abused in the past. Like the most well-known was the Oracle rebuild at some point. So I mean, it's not required, and they went above and beyond before, and they're doing just what is required now. That shouldn't be a black mark. I mean, it's just doing what is required basically, and not doing more. I am. Yeah. So Site says that also going as far as to call people freeloaders that contributed to the project. Yeah, calling people names is usually not great, but that's that's not great. That's not what I would have said. But what I would have said is probably very unrelated to what happens inside Red Hat because I am not Red Hat. Surprise. I wouldn't say it's freeloading. Well, some are really freeload. Well, it's unfair to say everyone is a freeloader, everyone who was rebuilding Rails sources, because that's not true. But some are, and some of those are companies that try to make money off other people, other people's work that was given to them freely before and is not given to them freely anymore. And if they were trying to do a business on something that they couldn't really expect to last over time, then that's just a bad business model. And yeah, I mean that's too bad. There are people who are involved in that and who were probably making a living from that and who are not making a living anymore. But that was just very unsafe foundations to build their business on. Or maybe they took a risk or they made a bet with it and it turned out to be not as long lasting as they would have hoped. And I mean, too bad, but that's really. I mean, you couldn't really expect people. You couldn't really expect an organization as Red Hat to do something that was not required of them and that could be potentially damaging to them, and then they realize it's damaging and they stop doing it. And I mean, it's also unfair to try to shame them into doing it if it's not sound and they don't have to do it. um, so yeah, I totally agree with the idea that being a freeloader is not great. I mean, it's not so cool. I mean, calling people names, it's not cool. But I don't know. There's been a lot of not uncool names and exchanged, I would say. And so, did they want to kill the community problem that small team worked on? I don't think that they were aiming at small teams. Um, I think they were aiming at freeloaders, and they couldn't they couldn't target the freeloaders and do something that will prevent them from doing what was harmful to Red Hat, and at the same time keep the others that were not damaging to Red Hat, allow them to do the same thing. Like it has to be everyone or no one basically with this sort of thing. So I really don't think that they were trying to harm the community in any way. For what it's worth, I think that opening out the rel source to the public, to the internet, is way more than they have ever done before. When I first worked on Fedora, uh, the source to so at that time it was there was Fedora Core and Fedora Extra. It's kind of old timer, but still. And basically, the code for Fedora was a dump that people inside Red Hat built, and they were just basically dumping it outside, and we couldn't see what was going on inside. And then they had their whole build system that was in-house, and nobody could look at it. And then they opened that, and then they opened the set of tests that they run on the packages, and that was very controversial because that's something that is very important to Red Hat, the tests that they do on the packages. They opened everything, and now that they are now that they're closing one thing, which was the ability to rebuild the exact same binary thing that they were shipping, then people are telling them that that they're doing closed source and that they're killing the communities, and I think that's pretty unfair. I've seen Red Hat open more and more stuff throughout the last 20 years, basically, and know that they are. And even when Oracle tried to do this rebuild of RHEL, they didn't do what they did recently. So, I mean, I think that they tried all they could, and they tried as hard as they could to keep that freely available for everyone. But I mean, I'm not in the business quarters of Red Hat, so I can't really tell what's going on there. But I think that if it's dangerous for them, then yeah. All right. I hope that this and it basically is basically just my insight of someone who tries to stay away from all those politics. Not entirely away, but like all the business politics are not really what passionates me, and so I have tried to keep up, but I probably know less than a lot of other people that are not employed by Red Hat. So what about the community? What about which community? Do you mean the CentOS community? Do you mean the Fedora community? There's a lot of communities out there, and if you mean the community behind RHEL, so I think the community behind RHEL can still contribute to it by using git.centos.org, and they can still and they have been doing that, by the way. You can open pull requests in there, so it's being an active contributor in the community of RHEL is much easier now than it used to be. Before that, you had only Apple basically, where you could add stuff, and now you can open pull request to RHEL, which is, I think it's pretty awesome. Um, I think that there's the part of the community that gets harmed is a very small part, because it's a very small part of people who wanted to consume RHEL and not contribute to it. Um, so, well, CentOS is not the solution. So even so, I said CentOS is not the solution because it's not as stable. I don't know about that. I find it pretty stable. You mean CentOS Linux? Because CentOS Linux is discontinued, but CentOS Stream is not as stable? I find it pretty stable. I guess that depends on your what you want to do, I guess. I've been running it on servers for a while, and we are also running it in the Fedora infrastructure for a while. So, and it's pretty stable. So Yolomatic says that it would be better to focus back on the project he's working rather than talking about the bigger topics. Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have opinions on that, but they're really not well informed. I mean, I'm happy to discuss other things. It's cool. It's a stream, so why not? But I do not represent Red Hat in any way, clearly, and I only represent myself. I'm trying to hack on things. It's not even a work day for me. So anyway, um, all right. Let me get back to what I was doing. But it's I'm happy to chat, but it will be pretty much like a chat you would have in a bar with a pint in your hand. So, um, all right. So I still have the same error as I had before. Um, um, Yeah, so it will make the remark that CentOS is in front of Red Hat in terms of package releases. Um, so that might be true, but I don't think it makes it unstable. Some newer packages actually fix things, so you have less bugs. Um, all right. Yes. I see. Okay, so my problem is that here I have the reply. Okay, that's what's wrong. Okay, so here I'm calling the API two times actually. I'm calling it once with this value here, and I need to call it another time with the result of the call to admin itself, which is exactly what I removed. Why did I remove it? Oh yeah, that is why. Yes. And so if the result of a mock is a list, it's going to iterate through this list to give you results. So there are other comments by one site on the topic of CentOS and Red Hat. For some cases you don't want to be at the cutting edge. You actually want to be behind a few packages, so it's more tested. Yeah, I agree with that, and I think CentOS is already pretty far behind. It's really not cutting edge at all. Fedora is pretty cutting edge, and I would agree that Fedora is pretty cutting edge, even though I'm running it on some servers, and we are running it on some servers in the Fedora infrastructure, because not all packages move at the same speed. Some are really recent, and some are pretty stable because the code base is stable. So it really depends on what you want to run it for. Is this working? List object is not callable. Yeah. Is it because it's result 3? What's that? Yeah. Is that a mock? What's mock connection? Sorry, I entirely forgot how we do things here. Mock connection. Yeah. Okay. Let's make equal. What's the single page result factory? What's that? A function. Not sure I'll be able to fix that. Or to do it this way, because I want to mock multiple calls to LDAP. Do I have a? I'm surprised that I haven't done that before. What's single page result factory? Do I have something else? Because mock connection, single page result factory is a factory that results. Okay. Okay, so I want result to be different. Need a mock for that. It's probably a mock. Let's try that. Is this gonna work? Yeah, my bad. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the right way to do this. It's a bit messy. Hmm. Hmm. Right, I should probably do something a bit smarter here. And here I was trying to... Okay, so what I'm trying... Um, mm, mm, mm. So, sorry. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to not mock this function that I used to mock. I'm going to try to mock something else instead. I'm going to try and mock something else instead. Like I'm going to go to the client and try to mock get group members. Does this make sense to mock get group members? I don't think it makes sense because I think that's exactly what I'm trying to test. Yeah, no, get group sponsors. Ah, I can test get group members. Okay, cool, perfect. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, instead of this, I'm going to patch get group members. And give you this. And that would have been much easier. Should have done that from the start. Let's see if that works. Something seems off. What's off? Indented block. Ah, here. Yep. What's wrong here? Oh, yeah. Of course. Yep. Correct. Okay. And, oh, did I delete too much? I probably deleted too much. Yeah. Okay. That was thing. Okay, I hope it's correct this time. Let's do it. Wait, what? Tuple is not callable? So, what mess did I do? What mess did I do? Yes, of course. Comma at the end. Let's do it again. No, not this one. Ah, okay, no, that's good. Okay, so in theory, what I've changed is enough to have the code go through the part that was not covered before. Let me try and do all of them again, run all of them. Okay, while it's running, I'm going to go back to the chat. It says that there's this strategic decision by Red Hat is expected to have implications for various community-driven enterprise Linux distributions, including Alma Linux, Rocky Linux, and Oracle Linux. With the rel public sources not confined to CentOS Stream, these distributions will face greater challenge in providing one-by-one binary compatible builds for the corresponding rel releases. And I agree with that, and I think that's the point. Where we are mistaken is to expect to feel entitled to have one-by-one binary compatible builds of rel. There is nothing in the open source licenses that says that you should be able to get all the code on the that you should be able to get all the open source code that somebody else gets. And so yeah, I mean, it was nice of Red Hat to give people the tools and to work on helping people rebuild rel, but that was just them doing something nice, and it's absolutely not a requirement. Okay, so we are still not going through this. Why? Now let me try to do this one again. So it's still not going through the place that I thought it was going to through. Here we have CN equal translators, blah 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 blah. Okay. Now this one should not match. Not anymore. And it is not matching. But it's also not going through the file. Did I mock something wrong again? So in one side says that fair enough, Red Hat is just a big evil company at the end of the day who only cared for money. Okay, yeah, sure. And here I thought we could have a conversation. All right. Okay. Okay, let me focus back on the thing. Okay. List sponsors UID. Okay. Why is it not called when I'm going get group sponsors? No. So list sponsors UID should be called when I'm calling sponsors to users, right? So this function right here, when I'm calling sponsors to users, maybe that wasn't useful to do that. Okay. Where's sponsors to users? It's right here. Okay. UID admin. Very good. Very good. Okay. Sponsors to users. That's the one that I want to test. So see, that's the problem. Sponsors to user is matching. It's matching on users and it's matching on accounts, and that's why it's failing. So the problem here is in my code. Group match here is looking for this on the entire distinguished name, the entire DN. And it's finding it because there are CNs in the distinguished name. It's just not at the beginning. And what I want to check here for a group match is only if CN is at the beginning. And so I think that re.findAll is not really what we want to do. We want re.match. And we want that to match only at the start. I think that re.match. We want this. We want start only at the beginning of it. So if I run that again, it passes. And this time the second argument is none because it's not matching. So I think using re.findAll was a mistake here. And same thing for here. I only expect UID equal to be at the beginning of it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to change it here as well. Okay, remove my prints. Let's see if there are other re.findAll that should not be used. Okay, that's the last ones. Okay, now let me try to run the entire test suite again. It's failing. That's very good. Well, that's not good because I didn't expect it to fail, but it could happen. It's failing because, my new test is failing. So it's not matching CN equal translators, CN equal groups, blah, blah, blah. Oh, let's try again. This time I was too restrictive. Maybe I need to add this. Does it need to match the entire string? I'm not sure if it needs to match the entire string. I don't really remember that. Oh, UID equal admin. Well, that should fail. Wait, what? Oh, that's not sponsors to user that I want to test. Um, did I mess up the other one? Of course. So here we are. We have so for you, it's not matching for user. Okay, so my regex is wrong. Okay, so I was wrong to change the other one. This does not match. Maybe if I'm matching, I need to match the entire string, which means that also, yeah, I don't have backslash. Let's try that. Why is it not matching UID equal admin CN equal users? You know the saying, if you try to fix a problem using a regular expression, you have two problems. So that means it's not matching. Okay, it's an unnamed group. Very well. This is going to bite me later on, so I'm going to do it now. Group, it's going to be group 1. Not comma. Okay. Let me try that more simply. Okay. My string is this, right? This does not work. Okay, good. So nope, still nothing. What if I just remove that? Now it works. Okay, so what was this complex group, like a non-matching group? What's this? Let's look at the documentation, okay? I sometimes forget. What I thought it was a non-matching group. So, P is to name it, comma, blah blah blah. P equal, question mark equal, okay. Look ahead assertion. What? No, that's the one, okay. Preceded by a match for a positive look behind exception. I have no idea why to do that. I have no idea why that would be used. None. Why is it not a simpler one? Okay. It's not finding it because of it's not finding the history in there. Okay, let me get back to what was there before, okay? Find all, remove that, remove that. It's correct now. Let's blame. Let's look at the blame. Find all. Okay. Maybe she just reorganized it. Yep. I don't know why, but it doesn't. It seems way too complex, and it's actually causing issues. So I'm just going to use a classic match. So not trying to make an unnamed group or non-matching group, just cn equal and what I want to capture. Same thing for here. Just UID equal and whatever I want to capture. I'm not even sure that is necessary. Let's look. So if my UID is this, I am matching, right? I am matching. If my UID is this, I'm still matching. I'm still matching. Okay, so I don't have to. It's matching any place in the. Yeah, it's matching any place inside the string. I did not remember that, so fine. Okay, so I don't need that. Same for here. I don't need the comma, but I do need the match. Okay, all right. Let's do this. What about now? Is it failing or not? Okay, it's passing. Let's try the entire thing again. This time, hopefully, we would have all the coverage and fixed an issue that was there. In the way the regular expressions were constructed. By the way, it's not great to just to array that much. We should have we should compile the expressions before. But anyway, okay, it passes and we have 100% now. Let us go back to what we were doing at first in the very beginning, which is start Vagrant. Okay, so now I have Vagrant running. And I think that I can make queries to FASJSON. Let me log in, please. Okay. All right, and let's query FASJSON. It's a bit complex because of JCS API, but that's fine. Oh, I need to change how it's referring to itself. That's something that I forgot, but it's, yeah. Okay, I'm getting a result. I am logged in. That's cool. Let me get the list of groups. There are tons of groups. Let's say okay, there are tons of groups. Now, let's say I want to what's in editors? Do I have people in there? No editors. I have people in designers. And I have people in developers. Okay, let us say now that I will set the developers group as being a manager of the design group. Let's try that. So what's the command? In IPA, it will be group add member manager. Group add member manager. The group is designers. Okay, now my developers, my designers are managed by the developers group, which means that if I query, let's remove it. Let's remove it first. Let's remove with a V. Let's remove it first and let's test. If I query FASJSON for groups, designers, sponsors, what do I get? I get some results. Those are the sponsors of the designers group. That's correct? Yeah. Now I add the developers. Okay. What if I query it now? I have much more. Okay, I have a lot more users. Okay, so that proves that it's actually querying the right thing. So, what am I going to do? Well, I am here. What change did I do? Those change, I don't want to commit them. Yeah, that's really not really interesting. The main changes are in there, actually. Oh, there's still prints. Let's remove them. So the only difference in this file is just this comma. I'm not going to bother. So that's my change. And I'm going to save it and to push it to Lenka's pull request. That's weird. That's the only change? I thought I had changed something. I thought I had changed something in the tests. Did I not change something in the tests? I thought I did. I'm going to go back in this stream and check that I did. All right, let's try it. Let's try this again. Wait. Just make sure that it's not you reusing the old coverage. I'm pretty sure that I changed something in the tests. Let's try to run them again, see if that's all right. Okay, yeah, the failure was because the group match was matching all the time, and changing the from final to match with the right regular expressions made it pass. So I didn't have to change this. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a bit obscure, but OU means organizational unit. It's an LDAP name to mention to talk about a branch in the tree. The DN is a distinguished name. It's the entire fully qualified name of an LDAP object. Okay, and now I should be able to push that. I should be able to push that to link as branch. Let me check if that's actually the case. Yeah, apparently I did the right thing and it's starting the test again. Good. All right. I think that's pretty much it. So we'll wait for this to pass. And Lenka is probably going to rebase it with this test. And we'll be done. So feel free to check out Git PR branch. It's a small side project that I wrote a while ago because I was always doing the same thing. It has some interesting features. As I showed you, it will check out a new branch for the same pull request so that you can compare between different revisions on the pull requests. If you are checking out a pull request that already had reviews, it will create a new branch for each of the existing reviews. So you don't have to. So yeah, it will, even if they were in the past. And one more thing, yeah, it can show you what your branch are and purge them, for example. It will show you all the branches that you have, which pull request it's associated with, and if they are closed or open. And this way it can just clean them up. Prune maybe? Do you want to remove all those branches that are associated with pull requests that have been closed? Sure. Cleaning things up. And done. All right. What else? Yeah, feel free to check out the website. It has been built for Fedora as RPMs. I think I've built in Copper. I think I've built it in Copper. You can install it with PepX, but there is also a Copper repository if you want the RPMs. All right, and that's about it. I hope that was informative. This time I used Vim instead of using Visual Studio Code. Hope that helped. We spent a bit of time talking about Red Hat politics. There is still more comments on the chat, and I think my main position is that we shouldn't feel entitled to have RHEL for free. Basically, we used to have RHEL for free because people were building it, but it has never been Red Hat's promise to give out RHEL for free to everybody. So it was nice while it lasted. It stopped now. Well, that's how it is. And if you still want to have RHEL but you don't want to pay for it, then you can have CentOS, and it's not going to be exactly RHEL, but it's going to be pretty good. And Fedora, of course, which is still pretty good for some servers that you that you don't want to have that you want to use packages on that have been stable for a while. Some networking things, for example. I personally use it. I find it very stable. It's just that I usually upgrade every year. I skip one release and it works well. And all the tests passed. All right, I think that covers it all. I'm going to stop there. Thank you all for joining, and see you next week because I'm going to try to do that every week. hope that was useful and hope you enjoyed all that. Let me get back to my stream studio. And it was a pleasure. See you next time. See you next week.